Welcome to Ignite Session 1. I'm your coach, facilitator, instructor, Robert Earl. AskTheEarl.com. You can find the study materials, your student manual here, and I'd like you to also register to let me know that you're actually taking this course, this Keller Williams course, online. If you go to asktheearl.com/ignite, IGNITE, you'll get the information, fill out a form, and then you'll get the student guide that will be sent to you. So we'll go through some of the steps of Ignite. We'll talk about the different sessions. We'll try to mimic what a classroom course would be, but obviously you're taking this self-study course online, which I want to congratulate you for taking the time to actually do that. That you're making the investment in yourself, in your brand new real estate career, or to relaunch your real estate career, to be able to pour yourself into Ignite. Ignite is 20 sessions, and in just a bit, we'll go over all of the details so that you could see the information. So let's go ahead and jump into Ignite. You're at session 1 about sparking your career. I've got my setup here, so I'm going to be looking at my instructor manual. I'll be walking you through the slides. You yourself should have on your computer, you'll have the video that you're looking at. Because you've gone over and registered, you will also have your student manual available to you, and you'll be able to follow along. So let's talk about some of the ground rules of the course, or kind of the structure of the course. The course is designed for you to already be up and running as a real estate agent. We're going to refer to some of the technology items that are available to you within Keller Williams. Your KW Connect, your KW Command. If these are foreign to you, if you don't know what those things are, bear with. We'll go through some of the steps and we'll talk about what you're doing. You're going to have your participation guide, your student manual, so that you'll be able to go through the steps of it. The intentions of the course, what we're intending to do with the course itself, and we'll go through this. Now, some housekeeping things that we have to do. Your office itself will also give you instructions on this, but it has to do with the TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, to make sure that all contacts that you make, phone contacts, text contacts, are done in a manner that's in compliance with your federal, state, and local laws. This includes business-to-business calls and text. You're never going to call or text a number that's on the do not call list. If you have particular questions, check with your local broker, your local office. But I want to make sure that we are going through these disclosures. Enough on that. We'll go through this. Anytime you hear me referring to TCPA, I'm talking about the do not call list. So we have those items that go in there. Let's talk about commissions. We're going to refer to commissions throughout the course of the course. If you were taking a class with me in a classroom, you'd see me talk up to the rafters or the ceiling in case somebody was listening in, and I would be saying there's no such thing as a set commission. All commissions, there's no standard commission. This is negotiable between agents and their consumer, whether it be a buyer or a seller. We're going to follow all of the compliance with fair housing. Any emails that we send must be in compliance with the CAN-SPAM Act. When you do emails through your KW Command, you're protected because the information will be added, allowing somebody to unsubscribe and do those types of things. And then any text or materials generated by AI, we're going to let you know throughout this. This is copyrighted material. I'm providing this as a team leader, not only to my agents in my office, but making it available to others that are able or not able to get into their office. Maybe they're dual career. Maybe you're in that type of situation. or you missed a class or two that was given at your market center and you want to be able to catch up and start making the commitment to your career. So enough on that compliance. I've talked about our market centers and what the schedule would be. Normally, Ignite is given in a classroom setting where you have your initial facilitated learning. That's what we're doing right here. This would be the facilitated learning. And then you yourself need to do what's called the success system, so that every day you're dedicating 2 hours of your day towards the activities that are asked of or prescribed in the success system. Now, don't worry about it. We will explain what we mean by that. But if you look at this, you would be blocking out in your schedule that you would be going to class every day and doing the success system. So if you've made the plan to take Ignite on your own and do this, let's say in the evenings or weekends, you need to have a similar type of schedule. The quicker you learn the skill sets, the quicker you can start working with buyers, sellers, and investors, and the quicker that you can start cashing checks. I mean, that's what it's about. That's why you went through all of the licensing. You activated your license, paid all of those dues, made the investment into yourself and your business, and therefore you need to know what to do next. That's what Ignite is all about. So we're going to take you on a little bit of a journey, and the journey is really divided up between the different segments and the different sessions that you go through. The first part, we're going to talk about what it takes to be a real estate expert. So you don't know what you don't know. You have some general principles and foundations that you learn from the real estate class. But now we're really going to talk about what does it mean to be a real estate expert. The next phase that we're going to go through then is talking about lead generation. How are we going to find buyers, sellers, and investors? And when we find these individuals, it doesn't do any good if we just get in contact with them if we don't do a level of follow-up. We're doing all of this to lead to transactions. And so the different modules, the different sessions that we have will walk us through this particular process. So let's dive into this a little bit more. And the first section that we're going to be going through is going to be, as we talk about this, as we get into the agenda portion of this, our course outline. The first portion in this first session is talking about sparking your career. You see, if you're going to ignite something, if you're going to catch something on fire, and that's what you want is your real estate career to be on fire, you have to have some sort of spark. And this session is going to talk about the spark, the external spark, but most importantly, the internal spark that you as a real estate agent need to have in order for your career to ignite and take the next level. In other sessions, then we're going to talk about embracing what your true job is as a real estate agent. We're going to connect with your market and start to define your value. You'll see then under lead generation, lead follow-up, and transactions that there are other elements that are involved that the spark can actually take hold with. So, today's agenda, we're going to start talking about a new way of thinking and how the Keller Williams, KW, when you see KW, we're referring to Keller Williams, the KW culture allows you to have an environment where your spark can actually shine. So we're going to educate you a little bit about the Keller Williams values and your MC values. When we refer to MC, now you're going to hear a lot of acronyms. You're going to hear a lot of items and Kellerisms, and I'll try to take the time to explain what those mean. We refer to our offices as market centers. So we don't have an office in every single part of town. I guess maybe if you're in Atlanta or Austin, Texas, yes, we might have more offices than, say, our offices in Florida. The one I happen to be in is 45 minutes from the next closest office. So it acts as a market center, which agents in that area would collect at and would gather at for their education, their training, those types of things. So we'll talk about the market center values, your KW resources, your own particular career vision that you have. Then we will cover the daily success system and then give you some time to do a recap and some ahas. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Gary Keller, in the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book, that is a blue cover book that you'll see, he talks about anybody can do it. Not everybody will. Will you? You've made it this far through the first session, and again, congratulations for doing that. Will you actually stick this all the way through to go into the remaining sessions? And will you actually commit yourself to being a successful real estate agent? Here's what we know. We know agents that actually take Ignite, all of the sessions of Ignite, are 138% more likely to have a transaction within that period of time than agents that don't. See, the path is in the math, and we have proven this with the number of agents that we've worked with as Keller Williams, and I myself have directly worked with helping them get into the real estate industry. So part of this that we look at is the Keller Williams 6 personal perspectives. And when we go to the 6 personal perspectives, I'm going to give you an overview of each one of these and how they apply to what you are looking at as a real estate agent. I know that the successful agents are constantly cycling back to these particular principles that we have found to be successful within Keller Williams. It's committing to self-mastery. It's committing to the 80-20 principle. It's moving from E to P. Again, another acronym that we'll talk about. I'll talk about a little bit more. Agents that are successful make being learning-based the foundation of their action plan. They're constantly working on removing limiting beliefs, and they put themselves in a place to be accountable. So the specifics, let's go into number 1, committing to self-mastery. Those agents that commit to self-mastery, and this applies not just to real estate agents, these are business and timeless principles that you can look at. But committing to self-mastery means that you know your goals. See, you stumbled upon that, say, this particular segment, and you're talking about what you can do with Ignite and how that can help your career. Do you have a goal of how quickly you're going to finish this course? Are you going to get it done in 30 days? Are you going to commit your goal to go and have it done in 45 days, 60 days? Set a goal and know what your goal is, and then stick to it. Be willing to evaluate what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master that knowledge, skills, and habits that you need to be able to reach your goals. So I'm going to go over and make sure myself, as I'm covering these, that I go through and find the particular items that are in there. Are you committed to self-mastery? That is, are you committed to knowing what your goals are, your strengths, your weaknesses? Are you committed to acquiring the knowledge and skills and habits to be successful in your business? Here's what I would love to see you do. I would love for you to go through, watch this particular episode, and then turn to your productivity coach within your office, turn to other agents within your office, or send myself a message if you have questions. That way you would be seeking out and seeking to understand what it is that you need to work on and how you could improve upon your weaknesses and be able to go through that. The second part of the 6 personal perspectives is the 80-20 principle. Now, one way to put this is that we know over the years, economists have proved this, studies have proved this, that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. Think back to when you were in the real estate class and then it came time to study. Going through those sample test questions, going through the flashcards, that was the 20%, the focus that you had to have that would lead to 80% of your results. Same thing applies within real estate, and Ignite is going to show you what the 20% is that you need to be focused on. Moving from E to P. Now, this is a principle that we like to talk about, that the E would stand for the entrepreneurial approach. I myself like to break it down to say also that really what I'm doing is that if I approach something in an easy manner, if I do it just strictly out of energy, I got my real estate license, I'm all excited, here we go, I'm gonna start in on this, and you do that from energy, that you have a natural ceiling of achievement. You only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know, and that will only get you so far. And you have an opportunity by doing that you would hit that ceiling of achievement, and then you would get into a point of potentially disappointment, resignation. You'd start looking for greener pastures. This real estate thing isn't working out. Maybe I need to try something else. And then you are in a cycle that you may have found yourself in before. The P portion, moving from E to P, is that you start to do things purposefully. So there'll be times here when I go through this course where I'm going to say, pause this, pause it, finish the activity, and then come back. Are you truly going to be purposeful about this? Are you going to make a plan? Are you going to have a process? Is there going to be a set time that you're going to look at these sessions and be able to go through this? Because that focus and following models allows you to have the systems in place so that you can go to have breakthroughs. It's a concept called E to P. Now, being learning-based as a foundation of this is that if you just only do trivial pursuits, you hear something secondhand, you watch something on HGTV and you say, oh, I'll try that. You see somebody else doing it and you go through and you say, well, I know what I know, but I'm not really going to dig deeper and try to find out other things. Versus being learning-based is we break through another ceiling of achievement and we really start to look at 2 areas. We start to have enlightenment inside. We start to discover, hey, I should try this. This might be something that would work. I'm going to apply a model because other successful agents have done this before. Why don't I give it a try and do the work? That inner enlightenment starts to then show, not on day one, but it starts to show in outside productivity. I like to think of this and use the analogy of planting a seed. You wouldn't plant a seed and then put the dirt over the top of it and then water it and then the very next day turn around and dig it up to see if it's grown. You would give it the time and the effort and the energy and the sunlight and the proper moisture to allow that seed to have an opportunity to grow and then potentially blossom. The food that you need in being a successful real estate agent or successful in any pursuit is being learning based. And the learning never ends. I'm 23 plus years with Keller Williams, 25 years in the real estate industry, and learning is a foundation of everything that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to get better in my career. You see, I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I am only very, very curious. Albert Einstein. It's a great quote. We're also going to work on removing some of the limiting beliefs. The limiting belief of, I don't have enough time to do training. I've got all these other types of things. I've got kids at home. I've got another job. I have these types of things. The market's down a bit in my area. I can't be successful in this market. There are agents being successful in this marketplace right now, whether at the time you're watching this, it's a good market, bad market, slow market, whatever it is. There are still people buying, selling, and investing in real estate. And then you also have a limiting belief, maybe I can't devote the amount of time. The time that you can devote, make sure that you do, make sure you focus, and that you will unlimit your thinking and get to a point where you are not in a box, that you have unlimited beliefs. Because I've never met you, maybe I have met you, but I believe that if you follow the systems and models that are laid out in this program, that you have a fighting chance to be successful no matter what the real estate market is. That's my belief for you. Are you going to choose to adopt that for yourself? See, this goes to the 6 personal perspective of the being accountable. There are 2 sides to this particular chart that we're looking at. If we look at the left side, life happens, reality shows up. And then are you going to ask questions, or are you going to just bury your head in the sand and take on a victim mentality from this? Oh my goodness, the this and that and what's going on, and you're deflecting, and I've got this excuse and that excuse, and well, I'll just wait a bit. Versus, hey, this is the reality of what the situation is. People need my help to buy and sell homes. Do I have the skill sets? Have I worked hard to be able to do this? Have I found the solutions or taking the training that I need to be accountable and make the changes that I need to make? These are going to provide a foundation for everything that we do within Keller Williams. We call these our 6 personal perspectives. And there are full classes on each one of these segments that you can take as refreshers as you go throughout your career. But this provides us a foundation. And some of these items, when I talk about it being a foundation, we're providing this so that we are speaking a common language. Now, when I bring up to you E to P, I don't need to explain everything all over again. You know what I'm referring to. The 80-20 principle. What should I be focused on? Am I being a victim, or am I being accountable and actually showing up and knowing that I'm committed to change? These are some of the things that we can look at. Happiness is not an individual sport. We want to connect with others. We want to connect with these types of situations. I would love to hear your comments on what you've gotten out of the 6 personal perspectives so that we can talk about this a little bit more. That's what we talk about, ahas. You have an aha. You have something that you've thought of. I've also heard that ahas are really agents helping agents. So leave a comment here below the video. What's something that you got about the 6 personal perspectives? It may be a month from now, 3 months from now, that somebody else comes and looks at this, and this will help them to be able to discover something. So now we're going to go into the KW culture. We'll go to the next phase of it and be able to track along with this. So when we talk about the KW culture, there will be some factors and some things that we'll go into, and I'll talk about these types of items. A lot of these items you can learn more about on your KW Command and KW Connect. That is our online library, shall we say, our online portal for you to be able to go through these things. We'll talk about our MVVBP, our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective. We'll talk about Red Day, KW Cares, KW Kids Can, which is now also referred to as KW Next Gen. We'll talk about diversity, inclusion, belonging. All different types of people buy houses. So I'm not going to make this a political statement. I'm making this as something that, and fair housing requires us to make sure that we are inclusive of all, and then those that are cultural ambassadors. So let's dive into our MVVBP and what that actually stands for, and why I am so driven myself to be an ambassador for Keller Williams. It's because of, and it starts with the MVVBP. See, our mission of why am I doing this? Why am I taking time to produce this video and put it out there for you to be able to take this? Because I truly believe that we are here to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, life's worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Now, I want you to read that yourself. And in the comments, I want you to leave which line stands out to you the most. Which part, when you read this, has the most impact on you? And maybe you could share a little bit as to why. Is it that you really want a career because you've been bounced around in different positions? Are you an entrepreneur and you really want to have your own business? Is it that you're really looking at and saying that I want to have this, the money or the relationships, because it would give me the life worth living? I want to share my experiences, and I've got kids or I've got family, and I want to make sure that I'm building a legacy by selling real estate and making investments and being able to have financial wealth that I can pass along as it goes through. So what's your particular mission? What stands out to you from that standpoint? Our mission is backed by our belief system. Here we go, another acronym. It's known as our Y, 4C, 2 T's, the WI, Y, 4C, 2 T's. And these are timeless beliefs that no matter which way that you look at this, we really have that it's win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, that our customers are not always right, but they do come first, that we're committed in all things. Are you committed in all things to finish through all of the sessions of Ignite? That's part of our belief system, that we know that that's what it takes to be honest with yourself and to be able to go through this, and that we know that success comes through people. I can't do this for you. It's something that you'll do yourself as we go through this. We bring this to life within our market centers by Red Day. We shut down our offices one day out of the year in May to do a special project within the area. We take care of our own with a charity known as KW Cares, a 501(c) that last year when the hurricanes hit in the Asheville, North Carolina area, within 36 hours, we had KW Cares trucks on the ground helping our agents with the items that they needed, generators, water, those types of things. Some of our KW associates that had completely lost their home. Now, that's not a replacement for FEMA or insurance, but it was something to show that we care, and it would be a grant and a way to be able to help. KW Kids Can, which is now KW Next Gen, is our opportunity to teach others the timeless principles that Gary Keller has applied to build the largest real estate company in the world. And we teach that to young folks. There's lots of times, take the 6 personal perspectives, that I teach those to individuals, and they're in their 40s, 50s, even 60s, and they go, you know what, I wish I would have heard this when I was back in school, college or high school. That's what KW Next Gen focuses on and does. Maybe one day you'll become a KW Next Gen instructor as well. So we really bring this to life with our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective. Was there something that stood out to you? Take a moment, pause if you need to, write it down in your notebook, or write it down as an aha. I learned this principle from one of the co-authors of the One Thing book, Jay Papasan. And when Jay Papasan gets out a notebook or when he goes to a session, he takes a page or takes a session of his notebook, and at the top of it, he writes parking lot. And then when he comes up with an idea, he doesn't need to write it all out. He doesn't need to do it right then. He puts the item over in the parking lot, and then he reviews back through it. So maybe there'll be something where you'll look at it and say, what is my mission? And you'll put that in the parking lot, and then you'll be able to come back to the particular item. So your market center will bring to life those KW values. The more you plug in, the more that you can attend training, the more that you can interact with others and experience it. It's great that you're taking the time to do this online, but one of the big differences in Keller Williams is our culture, and it's kind of difficult to experience culture by just looking through a lens or looking at a screen. So our values, our things that we look at is that we are the largest global real estate franchise. We don't just say that we are some of the best. These other outside entities also do these types of things and have given us these awards over the years, if we look at it. We're really a training and coaching company that happens to be in the business of real estate, providing a technology platform for you to be successful. We do this through Connect. We do it through Connect Live. We do it through our local and regional training. We do it through our national events. I hope to see you at some time at Family Reunion or Mega Camp, our large events that we have that agents travel to be able to learn. Our Keller Williams University, which starts right here with Ignite, our KWU enablement with our command training, and then our MAPS, our mega agent productivity systems that bring us coaching, training, and our KW Bold. If Bold is in your area, I highly recommend that you take that as a follow-up to Ignite as part of your career and as part of that self-mastery and being learning-based that we talked about. Another value proposition that you get is the technology with KW Command. It is a CRM, a customer relationship management system on steroids. It is an end-to-end cloud-based and app-based system that allows you to stay connected with your business and stay connected with your database, your prospective clients, those types of things. Your command app that you yourself are then able on the fly to be able to see how is your business doing, what are your to-dos, what are your items that you need to do, fully integrated in with KW Command. Your KW app that we will talk about as a lead generation tool, something that you'll be able to give to your consumers, so that when they're out driving around or when they're looking for properties, they'll be able to do so in the palm of their hand. And then when they make an inquiry, it doesn't go back to Keller Williams, it goes back to you and your command. That's the investment that Keller Williams has made to be truly agent-centric from that standpoint. And then your own market center. I would encourage you to learn or ask about how your market center is doing, and I would guarantee you in 80-90% of the areas around the country, we outpace what the other companies are doing. So what is their month over month? What's their year to date? You're going to hear about these types of things in the team meetings or the sales meetings, whatever they call it, the rah-rah session that they may have. But these types of items will help you to distinguish and differentiate yourself from other real estate agents and other real estate companies. I've seen a number that said that in 2024, 1 in 5 real estate transactions that occurred involved Keller Williams. So your market center will be able to have, and this would be filled out, you'll know who is your team leader, who's your assistant team leader, who is your go-to individuals, your market center administrator that works with the staff, but also works on cutting commission checks, doing those types of things. Our ALC members, our Associate Leadership Council, our top 20% of agents that you can pick up the phone or drop a message to and call. Check with your office and find out those specific individuals so that you know who to go to. It's not just strictly your broker or the OP or the team leader. There's an entire staff that's there to be able to assist you. Now, I won't go into this too much, but as a company, I shouldn't say but, and as a company, we and the owners of the company have made a commitment to share back a portion of the profits with those individuals that helped grow the company. When you join the company, you're asked who is the individual that was responsible for you joining, and that individual now becomes a stakeholder, shall we say, within the company with no financial risk, no legal risk, no down payment. They don't have to make any phone calls. There's nothing extra that you have to pay out of your commissions, no additional fees. It is great for individuals to get this passive income. If you have more questions about that, that may be something you put in your parking lot and talk to an ALC member or a member of the staff about profit share. Some of the resources that are available within Keller Williams as being really a one-stop shop is within our mortgage, our manage, our Keller Covered, and our offers system. Each state has their own rules, regulations, and they have affiliated partners within your particular office. When you're talking with your staff, this is something that you need to do. For your own individual business, this might be something that you would pause and look at this and say, who do I have that I know that I could help a seller with doing renovations, doing repairs and maintenance, doing mortgage and insurance? Those are some things that will help you. We'll dive into that more in a future session. Our different communities that we have in the areas of inclusion, belonging, our KW commercial, KW land, luxury, military, new homes, sports and entertainment, young professionals. These are different groups that meet together and share information as to what's working best with the luxury community, with selling land, with KW commercial, of you becoming a commercial agent. Check with your local office for more information about each one of these. So is there one of those that piqued your interest? Maybe you'll put that down as something that you're going to ask more questions about. Feel free to leave a comment as to, did you know that we have a sports and entertainment division? Yes, we do, and some very successful agents that work within that group. So let's get into your own career vision and how this all fits together. And what we're looking at here is to your particular career vision. You see, I want you to stop and think about your own particular career. Pause this if you need to and read through these particular items. But let's future pace a little bit. Let's think about this. That today is, let's say that it is 2026, 2027, 2028, and your business is thriving. You have everything that you were looking for, that you're the top agent in your market center. You are the rookie of the year. You're hiring a part-time assistant to handle the 80% of the task that don't generate as much results as the 20% that you are focused on. You're on the path to maybe buy your first investment property, to be able to pay for that education for your kids that you were talking about, that you're able to pay off debt, that you're able to transition from that job that you're currently in to becoming an agent full time. Stop and think about that vision. Pause this for a little bit. I want you to take about 2 to 3 minutes and stop and think about that. All right, so we took some time and thought about our vision. We projected forward and we looked at that. How'd that make you feel? Did it cause you to look at this maybe a little bit different way? Maybe it refreshed your memory as to why you first took the real estate class and went through all of the steps that you did to be able to activate it. I mean, let's look at this. When you go through, how is that making you feel, and who intends, when you're looking at this, do you intend to make the future that you envisioned? So we're going to expand upon this a little bit more when we're taking a look at your vision. You see, we want to talk about your big life. And so we're going to expand upon your thinking beyond that 1 year. So what are you doing for the people that you care about? What charities would you support? How would you make the lives of yourself and everyone around you better? For the next activity, take a few moments in your student guide and complete the chart that you have there in your participant guide. In the boxes around the middle, fill in the people and the projects that you care most about. Add more boxes if you need to. Here we've got some examples that are on here as to donating to a cat habitat charity, or get through school debt-free, or pay off your parents' mortgage. To be able to look at that, take a few moments and fill out these items. Add an amount on each one of them of what you would spend as well. So go ahead and hit pause and take some time to go through this particular exercise. Now, great, you did this. Did you find yourself saying, well, I'll never be able to afford $120,000 for tuition, or I'll never be able to get through this part? Those are limiting beliefs. And we're going to make sure that we put those on the shelf and we look at how do we put a plan together to actually be able to do this. You see, if we start to put this together in the middle, we start to get a guide. We start to do something. I want you to think about the last time that you went somewhere in your car and you used a GPS. When you utilize your GPS, did you put in your current location? Or did you put in the location you were going to? I already know the answer. You put in the location you were going to. This chart of your big life provides you with a destination. Now, do you know all of the steps that you're going to take and all of the turns that you're going to take, all of the bends that you're going to go around and the bridges that you're going to cross to be able to get to your final destination? No. But at least you've taken the opportunity to take some time and look at this and be able to go through and have a destination that you're looking for. I want you to leave a note down below. Did that change your thinking a little bit? Did you look at it a little bit different way? In the One Thing book, we talk about that as goal setting to the now, that we talk about a goal that's off in the distance, and then we work our way backwards. Ignite's going to help you work your way backwards as to what activities you need to be doing in order to be able to get to this destination, down to the point of put the key in the ignition, turn the key on, put your foot on the gas, those types of things, so that we can help you through. See, Gary Keller says to achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. This is commonly referred to within Keller Williams and other areas as your big why. See, what stirs your soul? Think beyond your business. What really drives you? Is it money? Is it freedom? Is it providing for your family? How about college tuition for your kids? building a legacy for the future, donating back to your church or a local organization. Maybe you're the one who ends up building the next Little League fields for the kids. What is it? Take a moment and write that down in your participation guide, because it's not only about the money, it's about being the best you can be. You'll read that on the front cover of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. But this gives you an opportunity to focus back on your big why. When you set your course, when you set your destination, and you remind yourself of where you're going, this will help you through. And when you have a strong enough big why built around your passion, it will pull you through some of the difficult times. So we're going to look at this, and we're going to talk a little bit about your commission dollars, of where your commission dollars go. You see, when you get a commission check, here we just talked about spending tens and hundreds and thousands of dollars. When you get a commission check, I want you to think about there being different buckets that you have to put funds in. And not all of it is going to be what you take home, because you are going to have to make a contribution to your market center. You talked about this with your team leader or the staff when you first joined up, that you will have an amount that you'll go there. You will have business expenses. You've got to do marketing. You've got to do advertising. You're going to have real estate signs. You're going to have business cards. Maybe you get your car wrapped. Now make sure that you live within your means and do those types of things. You are a independent contractor, so you'll be responsible for paying your taxes. I'm not a tax accountant. I didn't even stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so your mileage may vary. Make sure that you check with your own professional about taxes in your own particular situation. But then you have your amount that is your take-home amount. Whenever we talk about a commission that you earn, I want you to think about these other areas that you go into. The beauty of being with Keller Williams is the amount that you pay your market center is capped on an anniversary year basis. So you do have an opportunity to reach that contribution, and then 100% of that would come to you, and then you would manage your expenses, your taxes, and that would increase your take home. So your market center, your business expenses, your taxes, your amount of take home. If you have an example of, and this is what we call our economic model, if you have an example that you want to net $100,000, or that you actually, you want to net $100,000, then your total commissions that you earn will probably need to be $180,000, because you'll have business expenses, you'll have your real estate dues, you'll have office supplies, you'll have gas, those types of things for your vehicle, and then you will have your company dollar, your royalty, the cap that you have. This varies depending upon the area. This is just strictly for an example, but out of this example, if you had a commission or fee of $9,000, then it shows you what your transaction goal is. Now we've refined your GPS just a little bit. We refer to this as an economic model of knowing your transaction goals, your budget model, and your economic model. We further break this down in future sessions of how do you go about getting the 20 transactions. So stop and think about your vision. This would be the time for you to pause the video that you're watching. What is your net income goal? Meaning the amount that you wish to pay taxes on, and then have your take home. So what are going to be your amount that you pay to your office for your contribution? You'll know that from your staff. An estimate of business expenses. If you don't know, this might be one that you talk with the other agents, or it might be something where there are some guides for you in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, the red covered book that you have, in order to be able to go through this. So pause for a little bit and then see if you fill out this information in your student guide. Great, you're actually putting together a business plan. You're actually putting together some numbers. And we like to use a term that says the path is in the math. If you know what the math is of how to solve something, then you know what actions you need to take in order to hit those numbers. So, we do have the ability for you to give feedback. The best feedback I'd like for you to do is to go on to Ask the Earl /Ignite and let me know how we're doing. Drop me a note. If you wish to do a formal eval on KWU, then you can do so. Just fill in the information that you see here and fill in my name as the instructor, Robert Earl. Really would appreciate it. If you want to get involved with KW Cares, you have the opportunity to be able to do so. And KW Next Gen for the individuals that participate in the class to be able to do so that they're able to get the classes for free, education, those types of things that go into that. So we covered a lot of information here through your career vision as you went through this. We paused for a portion of this, so although the video doesn't look like it was a whole 2 hours or whatever, you do see that we have covered a lot of information. Your student guide has a lot of details that you're already filling into this. Leave a comment. Love to hear your ahas that you have about this and what has stood out to you the most out of this session so far. Now we're going to get into the daily success system, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on the daily success system because this is what you're going to use all 30, 45, 60, and I'm going to key you in on a little secret. If you do this and commit to this over the course of your career, you will have a business bigger than you can imagine that will take care of your big why. This is the point where, as we like to say in auto racing, the rubber meets the road. And are you going to commit to doing the activities that we know top agents do in order to be successful? We call that our daily success system. So let's break down what is included in the daily success system. You have this in your participant guide that you're able to turn to and look through this. So we want to be able to go through and look at the different steps of what you should be going through and what you should start to put yourself in position to do. Here's the recipe. If we were going to make a cake, we would want to make sure that we included all the items in the recipe. We couldn't leave eggs out. I don't care how expensive they are. If you leave them out, you're not going to get the cake that you were looking for. This daily success system is a recipe. So the recipe that we're talking about is that you need to have 10 conversations with other people on a daily basis. That you need to be committed to looking to add 10 contacts to your database. This is going to be, right now, you might just be writing them down on a piece of paper. We're eventually going to transfer this into KW Command. We want you to write 10 handwritten notes or 10 direct messages or emails that you send, not automated emails, but a direct message or email that you send out to somebody. We want to go through and utilize a 10-5-1 model for social media engagement. We're going to talk about those things, and then we're going to do other enrichments. You see, the first job of a real estate agent is what we call lead generation. You need to be able to find people that are ready, willing, and able to buy, sell, or invest in real estate and have them commit to work with you. The activity of generating leads and making yourself known. I'm going to put my own personal twist on this. Sometimes you're talking with somebody and they're not ready to buy, sell, or invest. They still are important. You need to make yourself known that you are a real estate agent that can help them or the people that they know now or in the future. Doing this activities, making yourself known, is the 20% that will lead to the most results that you have. Practicing your conversations, your dialogues, doing so with confidence will build your success. Your success is going to be measured by appointments, by agreements, and then by closing. Now, of course, all of this is going to be done in a TCPA compliant, following the do not call list regulations. But these are the activities that you should be doing on a basis that you're going through. You see, the daily success system requires that we talk to people on a daily basis. We want to do lead generation. We want to be able to go through. Just as a doctor learns anatomy before working with patients, you as an agent must be prepared to have meaningful conversation with clients. You're going to use purposeful language in order to get to your point, in order to get your point across, and to have people, again, agree to work with you, set appointments, and going through those particular steps. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Well, these are the types of things that you're going to be practicing, and what you're practicing are your conversations that you go through. And our sessions that we have will talk about what it is that you should be saying. Items and questions that will uncover their motivation, that will identify objections that they may have, that will allow you to close the deal, that will allow you to communicate. Notice that I have explained certain phrases and terms that you may not understand in such a way for you to be able to understand it. I'm teaching you what you would do with potential buyers, sellers, and investors. This will build your confidence as you go along. So, here are some purposes, here are some benefits, here are some words that work for you to start to practice and learn. Did you find everything that you were looking for? Let's say in an open house or in a sales situation, you'll hear somebody say, go ahead, look around, and please let me know if I can help you. If you walk into, let's say, a Best Buy, you might have somebody say, I see you're admiring the big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? See, these are dialogues that we know elicit responses. Have you ever heard these phrases before? Put in the comments, yes, I've heard these types of conversations. Now, would you be able to do these conversations? Well, I'm sure you could. I'm positive that you would be able to go through these. The main place that you're going to have these types of conversations is with your sphere of influence. People you have met in one way, shape, form. Some way, somehow that you would go through this. In Ignite, we're going to talk about your sphere of influence. We're going to talk about growing this group. We're going to refer to it as the sphere. We're going to refer to it as the sphere of influence, your SOI. They're people that you've met. They know you, they trust you, they respect you, or they're getting to the point. It may take a little bit of time for them to get to know you, like you, trust you, and respect you. So, would you prefer to do business with people that you know, or would you prefer to do business with just complete strangers? You see, according to the National Association of Realtors, every year they do a survey of buyers and sellers, and that they say that we refer to the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, that 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers found their agent through a friend, neighbor, or relative, or used an agent they'd worked with before. It costs you nothing to reach out to call, to email the folks, to write notes to the folks that you already know. So here's what I want you to do, and this is in your participant guide. We're going to take a little bit of time. Who do you know going through your life event that may lead to a move? Somebody that might be in a job situation, somebody that might be expecting a little one, adopting, somebody whose kids are getting a little bit older, somebody that's facing a situation of an empty nest situation, and who does not know yet that you're a real estate agent. Write it down, put these people down. Who have you not spoken to in the last, say, 2-3 weeks? Start to make this list and put those things down. So go ahead and pause right now and start to go through those particular activities. Great, so you took a little bit of time to go through this, and let's talk about why the sphere of one type of lead generation. There's multiple types of lead generation, so I don't want you to walk away from this and saying, Keller Williams only wants me to work with my sphere of influence. What about open houses? What about all these different types of things? Facebook ads. We're going to cover those in future sessions, but we have to start somewhere. And this is a foundational item that top agents work with. No matter what type of lead generation they do, their sphere of influence is also a portion of this. You see, individuals, we know from the survey of buyers and sellers, individuals move on average every 7 to 10 years. We know this, that we found that from the studies, and your job is not strictly to have a relationship with them only when they're making a move. Your job is to meet them, get to know them, have them get to know you so that you are the person that they select when they do make a move. And oh, by the way, when other people that they know are able to make a move, they will say, I got a guy, I got a gal, and they will be able to refer you. This is what's known as a referral for you to be able to go through there. See, if you don't talk to them for that period of time, they've already gone ahead and moved and used a different agent, and you got left out in the cold. You weren't able to do that. So how would you feel if your friends only called you when they wanted something from you? That's one thing that people run into is they say, well, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to do this. Well, if you really now understand that your job is to care about these people, to help them maximize the value of their property, to help them find the right property for them that maybe doesn't require a lot of care and maintenance, maybe has the right yard size for them based upon their life situation. I could go on and on with these types of things. You want to stay in contact with them so that they feel like that you really care about them and that you don't just show up when it's time to buy or sell. That's when you start to get what we call commission breath. So you'll be able to go through this. In your participant guide, we're going to pause again, take about 4 or 5 minutes and go through that. Who do you know that has recently moved? Because see, moving is on their mind. Who might be thinking about moving soon, and who is somewhere in the middle? Take some time, pause this, and be able to go through those particular steps. Okay, Robert, I've got these people. I start to have them, and I really want to get in contact with them. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Well, here's an acronym that has served myself and others in the real estate industry for years, and it's known as the Ford method. And I'm not talking about the automobile. I'm talking about the acronym that would stand for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Dreams. What do I mean by this? The conversation that you could have and that you will start to practice, you need to find a dialogue partner that you're working with, or to be able to go through this yourself is to have a conversation with you. So I'm gonna go through this right now as a little bit of an example. I'm gonna ask you a question when I come in contact with you. How's the family doing? I heard you had a new baby, or I heard that your grandparents were in town, or I heard that your parents were here. So I saw on social media that something was going on. How is your family? So you're asking about that. And all along while I'm asking this, I'm making notes so that I can put this into my data bank so that I remember it next time that I come in contact with them. Then we talk about occupation. Are you still working at? How's the job going? Are you enjoying it? Any changes? Those types of things. So that would be the occupation that would be able to talk about. You could also then talk about, is their spouse, significant other also working where they were working? Recreation. Hey, I saw on social media, not meaning to stalk, but did you enjoy that trip that you just took, that cruise that you took? Did you get that boat that you were talking about getting at one time and going through? So that's your recreation. And then dreams. Still thinking about retiring when you hit 60? Still thinking about moving to the Villages, Florida, when you sell your home and be able to do that? Shameless plug. Our agents are here to handle your referrals down here in the world's largest retirement community. So those would be things that you would go through this. So this is what you want to practice on when it comes to having this Ford dialogue. Everybody that you took the time to list out, you're going to want to start having these types of conversations and, shall we say, fill in the blanks of this type of information so you'll be able to do that. I'm going to tell you from experience, I had a little bit of hair when I got into real estate, not much. But from this standpoint, I've had this conversation thousands of times. And I think out of that, maybe one time somebody wasn't willing to provide information. You know what? Next. I ended up working with other people. So these are the types of things that you'll be able to find out. So as you go through this, what are your ahas about the Ford system? Make some comments. Is this something you could do? I know you can. Is it something you're willing to do and practice and start to apply? Put a note down in the comments. You bet. I'm committed to Ford to be able to go through that. So, how has your thinking changed from the start of this particular session that we went through? What ideas or mindset are new to you? Do you feel differently about what you're doing? Was it meaningful for you to go through this session? Are you actually going to change some behaviors that you're going through? What actions are you going to take? Are you going to just list the people out? Are you going to list the people out and actually make conversations? Are you going to print out the sheet of the daily success and keep it with you so you can make tick marks as to, here's how many conversations I had, here's what I'm able to do? Are you going to do a little research of a new notebook or KW Connect or KW Command so you start to learn about these types of things? How will you make yourself more accountable? These are some of the questions that we go through for the ahas for achievement. So the next session that we're going to have posted is going to be for you to embrace your job. This is what the next session is going to be focused about. We're going to go through these types of things. So I want to make sure that before you go to session 2 that you have access to Command. Check with your local office staff so you can get into KW Command and that you can get into Connect. If you want to look at your daily success system, you probably want to spend about 20 minutes doing role play, about 10 minutes preparing your call list for the day, 45 minutes doing some real play and some calls, and then your notes that you took, making sure that you update them into your database. Those are some of the types of things that we go through. So we've covered quite a bit here. We've gone through a new way of thinking. We've talked about the Keller Williams culture, our mission, our why 4C2Ts, Red Day, KW Cares, Next Gen, about KW values in your own market center, some of the resources that are available to you. And then we took you through a little bit of a career journey regarding your net income, where your dollars go, the number of appointments that you need to go through. So how's your mindset doing? Appreciate you sticking in there. This is the first of 20 sessions, so start knocking down those dominoes. But in order to knock over all the dominoes, you got to start at the first one and to be able to go through this. So either jump into the second session and be able to go through this, or take your time, and that we will be able to see you tomorrow as you go through and start to take action on Ignite. In closing, asktheearl.com/ignite. If you haven't already registered, make sure that you do that. I will send you the email for your participant guide. You will also then get my contact information so that if you have questions, accountability, those types of things, that you will be able to turn to and look at those types of things and really apply what you have learned in session 1. Thank you for your time. Make it a great day, and we will see you in session 2.